Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a little conflicted this morning. I have a little bit of a conundrum before I start, though I guess I'm starting, because on Thursday night, I held my friend's hand as she made her transition. And that's what's really on my heart right now. And that's what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about death. And maybe it was a topic earlier in the year before I got to town, or maybe it's coming up in the new year. But I had to at least acknowledge that that's where my heart is, because I am really demanding myself to become more comfortable literally in the face of death. And we talk about how we're here to walk each other home. Well, my friend Ursula gave me my walking shoes the other day. So that's what I really want to talk about. However, the theme this month is money, and in a way, really, death and money are kind of the same thing in so much that they're man-made. Death and money are man-made, and for me, when something is man-made or human-made, inherent in that is a sense of separation. So whether we're talking about money or we're talking about death, we feel separate from it, something that was already here when we came into this experience we call life and society and living. So to make that segue from death to money, let's think about this idea that it's man-made. And as a result, we've been set up to believe that we have to get, right? If something is outside of us, we have to get it. We have to make it. We have to earn it. We got to have it, because we don't have it because it's something that is outside of ourselves. And so that's the formula that we've kind of come into here in our society. And that's the formula that clearly is collapsing from the weight of its outdatedness, because the formula for acquiring money is inherently placed outside of ourselves. A financial lifestyle totally dedicated to outer experiences causes us to feel that our prosperity is always at the effect of something or someone else. So it's a good thing to just be mindful of as we talk about this topic today, and as you go forward into your own lives, and hopefully this stirs your thinking and your heart a little bit and causes you to question, where have you been with this topic? What is it that you believe? Because the farmer doesn't just talk about and focus on the plant, and the money is the plant. So that's why I say, let's not talk about money, just like the farmer doesn't just talk about the plant. It's an effect, it's an outcome, and as it relates to money, it's ultimately a symbol of substance, but it is not substance itself. It is a symbol of substance. What's the difference between green paper and this paper? What we believe about it, what we've agreed to, the value we've placed on it, how we have decided we're going to use it in our everyday living. However, in the new design for living, my program, we have a much broader, much more expansive view when it comes to this idea of money and prosperity and abundance. Here in this philosophy, the science of mind and spirit, one of the greatest lessons ever learned and taught is seed, soil, plant, and the laws that make it so. That's it. Seed, soil, plant, and the laws that make it so. If you can understand that, you pretty much understand how life works. And when you understand how life works, then you understand how you can work with it in accordance with its nature, in accordance to the laws that govern all of life. So soil is the environment, right? It's the environment. It's the container that holds, in this topic, our relationship to money. Soil, A farmer makes sure that that soil is prepared for the seed. It makes sure that the nutrient density of the soil is in its optimal state so as to give that seed its best possibility for becoming the thing that it is designed to be. So when we talk about soil, and we talk about our consciousness, we're talking about our inner environment. What do we think about money? How are we thinking about money? How are we talking about this thing we call money? What is our relationship to it? Is it this? I want it, I want it, I want it, I really want it. I'm open, I'm ready to receive. Are we posting affirmations for 25 years but still going like this and wondering why we're not experiencing the flow? What is our relationship to giving and receiving? When someone offers help, do we say, no, I got it? Or do we say yes because we understand that even if we do have it, even if we can lift it or carry it or do it, that the act of saying yes primes the universal pump in all areas of our lives? How are you doing with receiving? The next time somebody offers you something, practice saying yes and thank you. It's a really powerful, powerful thing. So the soil is our spiritual life. It's our emotional life. It's how we feel about money. And gratitude is one of the best nutrients for the soil of our life, not just our financial life or money as a thing that we experience, but gratitude is the miracle grow. That is the miracle grow. That just came through me. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was excellent. Gratitude. And if anybody takes that and hashtags it, I would like credit for that. I'm just saying, gratitude is the miracle grow. Yeah. Thanks for listening. And the seed. The seed, our thoughts and our intentions and our expectations. You know, congruency is a really important word. You got to be congruent. Well, you don't have to be anything. But in my experience, I am trying to be congruent. I'm trying to get my thinking and my emotions and all of that lined up so that I'm not saying one thing but holding energy over here about something that's going to negate the fullest bloom that I can possibly have. Because if I have said it already, it's worth saying again. All you can really do is create the optimum environment for the flow. Because look, I mean, I've been doing this for a really long time. I've been on the money thing for as long as you have. It hasn't always worked. That's why in the new Design for Living, we don't talk about money because it's very limiting. And I think as a spiritual community that is 40 years into this, if we're still talking about money, we're in kindergarten. We get it. We love it. We appreciate it. We understand that it is the thing that we use in our society today to make it work. But it's not the all of it. And it's certainly not the all of prosperity and abundance, because I'll tell you, my friend that night had an abundance of love. And I cried for the people in that hospital that night that didn't. She wasn't wanting more money. As her breath became more and more shallow, she already was experiencing an abundance of love. People holding her hand. Someone playing the guitar and singing, others holding her feet. Just like we welcome a baby into this world, we were preparing her for another kind of birth. So nothing puts us in the experience of prosperity and abundance more than bartering. I gotta tell you, I love bartering. Turns out I've kind of always loved bartering because it's a, well, I can't say that. That would be a Jersey thing to say. But it's kind of a thing to money, right? In other words, what I'm saying here is bartering levels the playing field. Bartering levels the playing field. I mean, I don't know. We talk about money, but like, we just went through 2.5 years of paralyzed fear, and then we learned that the largest transfer of money in the entirety of our history happened while we were in lockdown, totally afraid. Okay? So what would happen if we collectively said, money, we love it, we appreciate it, we welcome, we're going to give, we're going to receive, we're going to do all that stuff that we know. And what if we collectively said, this might be something we really value? What if we said, this might be the new design for money? Bartering. I love it because you have to participate in the laws when you barter. So I'm here in Alaska, but my car is in New Jersey because I have two separate lives that I'm seeking to merge. And I don't have a car, but I know enough about how it works. So when I came out here, I was already affirming, I'm going to have a car, I'm going to have a car, I'm going to be fully supported. And I also walked the talk. I told everybody that I knew, even people I didn't know, you got a car, you got an extra car, you're going away this summer. Somebody finally says, I have a car. Fabulous. What kind of a car is it? A convertible Miata. Yes. Yes. Think about that. A convertible. So I'm driving around Anchorage this summer in a red Miata. That's bartering. That's receiving. That's prosperity. That's abundance. Well, winter is coming. So what did I have to do? I had to prepare for a better car for the winter season. I'm putting the word out, I'm putting the word out, I'm putting the word out. And lo and behold, a friend of mine says, oh my gosh, my favorite words, you're never going to believe this. For the first time, I bought a used car this summer, but I have to go back to New York to teach. And I've been wondering, what am I going to do with it? I've been so concerned. Where am I going to store it? How is this going to work? Now I have his car, he has peace of mind, and the experience of the law of circulation was far beyond anything that money could produce. You want to level the playing field? Start bartering. It is the new way, and I find it to be extremely, extremely exciting. So in the new design for living, here in this philosophy, we're not so much interested in the effects. We have graduated to a higher level of understanding and discussion. Sure, we love the parking space, but that was in the beginning so we could strengthen our muscle around demonstrating and creating the life that we want in form. We needed practice. We needed feedback that this thing can work before I give you my romantic life or my financial life or my employment life. Let's start with a parking space. It was a good place to start. But we are much more interested in the soil and the seed. So in the new design model, we're more fired up about abundant living. I don't have one of my papers here that has the definition of abundance, but I can assure you that abundance has to do with the effect. So, for example, yeah, we want an abundant financial life. However, if that's the extent, if you think that abundance and money are the only two things that go together, you're missing the entire rest of the pie. We want an abundance of quality people in our lives. I don't know, maybe you're going through the experience too, but quantity has been replaced by quality. As people change and people move and we change and things shift and we say goodbye or whatever all of that is. So abundant living is an abundance of time for our spiritual practices. The mind will always convince you have no time for a 10-minute meditation. However, you have to be the one to tell that mind that there's a higher mind you'd like to connect with, and to do it, you got to sit still and experience what it's like to be unstimulated by the world of effects. We want an abundance of connection with people. So many people are alone. So many people are alone. So many people went through the last 2.5 years alone. And it's kind of weird, right? If you had people in your home, you wanted to be alone. If you didn't have anybody in your home, you wanted people around you. It's about connection. Maybe in one example, connection with yourself. Maybe in another example, connection with more people than yourself. An abundance of meaningful life choices. I read this wonderful article today, or the other day rather, about this next generation. Last month we talked about work. This is very exciting stuff. The job is on its way out. because change is happening. This is a generation that has come into an experience where there's multiple streams of income besides a job, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or gaming or Uber or whatever it is. There are multiple streams of opportunities for a whole new generation of young people. Plus, they want to do something meaningful. So when we look out and judge that they don't want to work, maybe we should spend a little bit of time talking to them and understanding what it is that is motivating them, that is causing them to have a very different relationship with money and jobs than we do. And an abundance of ideas. I was listening to Reverend Don's talk last night, and he talked about how the most important really is desiring an abundance of ideas. I mean, I always say this because it remains really true. How did the rose get packed in the bud? You didn't do it. I mean, you're good, don't get me wrong, but you're not that good, and neither am I. But something stuffed the rose in the bud. Something has stuffed the optimal experience for each one of us within us, and we have the responsibility, if we choose to have it, not to figure out the how, but to create the condition, the environment, the soil for the most optimal bloom. And we get to pick the seed. I mean, a farmer knows what it's buying. It's right there on the packet. It's got the picture of the thing itself. And that's where we come in. If we spend less time trying to figure out how to make more money and more time tapping into what it feels like to be prosperous in all areas of your life, the money is more likely to have an opening to flow. Ideas are the seeds. That's why meditation and visioning are so powerful, because I'm kind of done figuring things out. You know, it's like, where does that breath go? Like if you've ever been with somebody who's passing, you just wait for the breath that doesn't exhale. And where does it go? I mean, I know where it goes. It goes back from whence it came. But like, it's something else, really, to watch our soul leave the body. Like my friend taught me that we are not our bodies. We are not money. We are not the physicality of the experience. You know, you can see the subtle shift in the shade of the skin as the soul begins to extract itself from the density of the human experience so it can take flight. You can see, if you look, that a bit of a cloudiness takes over where the eyes were totally clear, because the thing that sees through those eyes is leaving the vessel that it used. There's so much more than just money. So abundance is the experience where prosperity is the consciousness. Prosperous living. I mean, look, I used to listen to a CD when I was broke while I wrote my bills for the utility company, trying to convert my thinking that I really had enough when I didn't. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's a practice. And if you're impatient, practice is very annoying. I understand that. That's why Jesus was so cool, because he had no belief in time delay. That's why it happened instantly, because he was one with Source. So if money is an issue for you, and maybe it's not, maybe like a lot of people are doing well. A lot of people have enough. A lot of people don't need more. I don't know what is true for you here or for those of you listening, but try to step out of the confinement of money and see life through the filters of abundance. Try to say, you know, I'd love a little bit more change, or, you know, this job doesn't necessarily pay me as much as I'm worth, but I got a roof over my head. I have a car in the driveway. I got at least a half a tank of gas. I have some money in my pocket. I have some food in my refrigerator. I'm doing well. I'm abundantly supplied, and I'm open to more. And so the last thing I want to talk about, as I don't talk about money, is the laws. I mean, I used to do a class called Strengthen Your Spiritual Muscles. And in my panic this morning, I was going through folders and looking at, where's my circulation week that I did. Yes, the law of attraction, sure. But that's not the only law. The law of circulation, that's the law. The law of circulation. This is why you have to say yes to receiving. We're all very good givers when we want to be and to where we want to be, but how are we doing on receiving? Simply saying yes. We can't even handle a compliment. Oh, you look really nice today. And we break into this story about where we got it or it's not real, and it's just like, thank you. Receiving. Thank you. It communicates to the universe. It communicates to the laws. Oh, we got a hot one here. This one is ready to receive. It's primed the pump. It's tilled the soil. Pour this person out a blessing that is so great, there's not room enough for them to contain it, and it overflows. I mean, isn't that really what we want? I mean, money is really about how we're going to feel when the money achieves whatever it is we think it can only achieve, which takes me back to my original question. How do you want to feel? Not how much money do you want? How do you want to feel? Because there's so many other ways to experience the feeling than just money. And we love it, and we welcome it. There's plenty of space for it. But let's expand our spiritual thinking a little bit. Let's mature. Let's graduate. Let's go up to a master's level or a college level around this topic and not be in the density of the human experience of money, because it's extremely limiting. The law of cause and effect. Okay, so something stuffed the rose in the bud, but what the heck causes it to bloom? The farmer has no doubt that something is going to cause it to bloom. Like I said at my last talk, it doesn't plant a seed and then look and say, hurry up. It knows there's a process. It knows it's done all that it has to do so that the law can create the most optimum experience for that seed. The law of cause and effect. The law of mental equivalence. When we talk about thoughts or things and everything you're experiencing, you created, I don't know, that feels a little harsh these days. Yes, I'm not saying that we should disconnect ourselves from what we are experiencing, because nothing tells us more about what we're thinking and how we're feeling about anything than what it is that we are experiencing in the world of effects, but not to shame and blame yourself. Because sometimes we experience the collective, as we clearly have a few examples of. Sometimes we experience the collective pool of thought. Sometimes we're inside the momentum of a way of thinking, which is what's happening now, and we go, oh, hold on a second, I want out of that. That used to work, that used to be okay, that used to be enough, but I've grown too much. This no longer supports me. I need something bigger, something more expansive. So the law of circulation, the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, the law of mental equivalence. If you spend time studying anything, study the laws, because you didn't create them and you're not going to uncreate them. And they're happening all the time anyway. Some intelligence is breathing us right now. I don't know. I'm not really thinking about it. But it's happening. So study the law quickly, because time is of the essence. While we live in the eternality of life, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of feeling like, this these days, especially watching my friend transition. It was just like, go. That's what it felt like in that room as the darkness took us over and she took flight. It was like, death was off to the side and I just felt go. Not in a physical way of rushing or achieving or anything like that, but go in the internal way where you just let it go. Let it go already, and rise up to the higher ideas that are available to us. So all you can really do is assume the role of farmer. What is your plant? Get very clear. Forget what society says. Let go of the outer definitions and what it values and what we used to value and all of that. You're a new person today. You've not ever been this person today, and there's another person that's trying to emerge through you. So how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Because maybe you can feel that way even without money. A lot of people do. We've heard the stories. People that are very, very, very wealthy, but they what? They're constricted, they're concerned, they're worried. They don't have a real sense of abundance and prosperity. They're not necessarily philanthropic, right? And we've also known people that have no money and are unbearably happy. Either way, it's an inside job. It's an inside decision. It's the inner soil. So pick your plant. Then go about preparing the soil of your mind. You can't pick a rose seed, and have prepared the soil for daisies and expect to get roses. Something's got to give. Something's got to go. Something has to be added. How is the soil of your mind? How is the soil of your heart? And then plant the seed of feeling, the seed of expectancy. All these things are important to our mindful awareness. So maybe you want more money, maybe you want more friends, maybe you want more opportunities, maybe you just want more of you. Maybe you just want more of your authentic self. Maybe your prosperous and abundant life is just about you being completely in love with who you are and knowing that that is enough. So this philosophy has no shortage of books about money, teachers about money. And yeah, it's great to experience you as a tither. It's great to experience. You're going to have an opportunity here with our collection. I mean, as a former Catholic, I mean, my gosh, talk about trauma. Not only did they pass the basket, then somebody said, let's put a handle on that thing so we can get it all the way down the row. Oh my gosh. We'd crumple it in our hands so nobody could see what we dropped in the basket because we were embarrassed if it wasn't enough. That's what Reverend Don was talking about, how religion has stained our thinking about the whole thing. So if the basket comes around today and you don't have any money, plant an intention as you put your hand over the basket. If you've got something in your pocket, even if it's $1, act as if it's $100 and feel how good it feels to give with an abundant heart, with a feeling of gratitude. And once you pick your flower, and once you prepare the soil, and once you plant the seed, go about your business of expecting an early spring. Go about your business of getting your vases ready for the flowers and the blooms that are going to fill your life and fill your cup. Get a bigger cup. Get a bigger cup. Get a bowl. Get a bucket. Expand your thinking. How much can I really receive? And then let the law take it from there. I find it incredibly helpful these days that the how is no longer my responsibility. We get to turn it over to a power and an intelligence far greater than ours. We are a part of it. It is a part of us. But our relationship to it is one of collaboration. Let's take a breath and exhale. Let's take another breath and exhale. When was the last time you gave thanks for your breath? We take it for granted the next one's going to be there. When you act as if it might not, life gets very rich.